So in the last video we created our base shape, and in this video we are going to load our reference Fusion Girl body and edit all of the sliders and conform everything to the Fusion Girl sliders. Before doing this, it is really important that the base shape looks great. So the base shape has to be fine. There should be no spots where there are stretched textures or that look weird in some way. So I left one spot here where you can see an example of stretched textures. So these vertices always belong together like that. Yeah, and you can see this looks a lot better. Okay, let's do it like this. Okay. All right. So because if you have some spots that look bad in the base shape, they're gonna look even worse when it is conformed to a slider and this slider is set to some value. So again, we're going to add a project with Control Shift and O, and I'm going to choose my very own monoboob conversion. I'm going to put a link into the description, and you can also find it on the Zax Discord server. So here, this one. Good. So what we're going to do next is choose both of these meshes and hit Control Shift and C to conform everything to this monoboob reference. Hit OK. Default values are good. And now you can see if I move all of the sliders, then the mesh will move with them. And because the monoboob conversion, monoboob reference is quite good, there will not be that much what we have to do, but we still will have to edit most of the breast and butt sliders. So for doing a proper conversion, what you have to do is hit this pencil button for all of the sliders. So for example, for this one, this boobs huge is really a slider that you always have to edit. And yeah, basically then while this is set as at 100%, you have to basically fix this mesh now to make it look good. Yeah. We should also edit this part here. Okay, that looks weird. Yeah. Let's fix it in the base shape, and it should look a little better. Oh, come on. There we go. That's better. Okay. Yeah, that looks much better, and we don't really have to mind about this clipping here, because later we will zap this body out, or you can see it already zaps itself out. So we already have a proper zap reference, but we're still gonna smooth this area down here underneath the breasts. Oops. Yeah, you need to have the slider chosen to do that. And I've edited the wrong mesh. All right. Good. Why does the zap have to be at this position? Better. Okay. That was it for this slider. Now you basically have to do this for any other slider. However, things actually don't look too bad with my reference, so there should not be too much to edit. So if you have a good base shape and if you have a good reference, then editing the sliders should not be that hard. Yeah. So what is important to note is that if you now change the base shape of your outfit, for instance, if we take this vertex and push it somewhere into Nirvana, then you also edit the shape for all of the sliders, because now, for example, if I take this slider that I have just edited, then my edit on this vertex that I pushed out somewhere will stay. So that's why it's important to have a proper proper base shape before editing sliders. However, sometimes for example, you take a slider and edit it, and then you notice that, for example, assume that this was our base shape and we didn't notice this that this line here is not quite straight, and now while editing this pregnant slider, we notice, okay, that's not quite straight. Then you instead of editing this zip here in this slider mode, you can edit it in the base shape, which should also fix it for this slider. So if you have done all of these sliders, at the latest by this time you should save this file as a project, because if you export this as a NIF, then all this slider data will not be saved. So you hit Control, Shift and S for Save Project As. Then you look for the name of the mesh, so of the original mesh, and put it here in output file name. And you also need this path here from the vanilla Greaser Jacket file, and you want to give your project a name, which will be Fusion Girl Greaser Jacket. You have here a slider set file where you can again save the project in a shape data folder, and shape data file. For me, those two will always be the same. Now hit save, and now our mesh, as well as all of the sliders and slider edits we have done, are being saved. So if we load and reload our project here, Greaser Jacket, then everything will be there with all of our edited sliders.